Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition to Off Track TV Live, coming to you from the Weedsport production studios here in Weedsport, New York. Along with Dan Kapuscinski, I'm the voice Shane Andrews. And Dan, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been together, but I'll tell you what, we survived Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week as we're back together once again.
Yeah, we did. It felt like we had literally a whole season's worth of racing in about a 2-week period, but there was a lot to do. The weather, for the most part, was absolutely beautiful, provided us with a number of days of fantastic racing that everybody could really enjoy.
As we like to remind everybody, you can find us on info at weedsportproductions.com or on Facebook. You can hit us up on Twitter as well. I'm at New York Voice 13, NY Voice 13.
Yep, I'm at Dan_Kapuscinski on Twitter.
And then the final segment of the night, Dan and I will take some of your questions. We try to solve and create all the world's problems in one short segment when it comes to racing. Dan, we're going to get things started a little bit different here tonight because we do have a special guest with us, and it is his anniversary, so we don't want to keep him. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us here on Off Track TV Live, the 2021 DIRTcar Sportsman Series champion, Matt Janzik. Matt, good evening, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, Shane.
Great to have you here. Hey, let's get things started. First and foremost, finally, you get that DIRTcar Series championship. I know that's something you wanted on your bucket list. Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, it's we're still racing, so haven't been able to really sit back and enjoy what we've accomplished. But certainly one of the things that we haven't accomplished in a long time, and we never really followed the series to accomplish it. So. The last couple of years, we started following the series and finished second to Kevin Root 2 years ago, and then COVID struck last season, so we kind of got that cut short. But we started off this year, and so that was one of the top things on my list. And we ran Fulton Weekly for home track points, and we set out to try to get that championship.
I was going to say, Matt, you talk about the weekly running at Fulton, and of course it's local, regional, and then at the end the championship points that all come together for that championship. So, I mean, talk about the grind it is to really come out on top of a championship that's not just 4 or 5 races. It's an accumulation of an entire season's worth of work.
Yeah, and the strong season that we had through the Central region and the home track stuff really is what propelled us to get to the championship, because we actually struggled during the fall championship a little bit. We had a terrible run at Brewerton, just didn't go good during Super Dirt Week. Not really sure why. Could never really put our finger on it. But when we needed to perform, we weren't the greatest in the fall championship. So luckily, the finishes during the regular season got us the bonus points we needed, and the Central Region points championship kind of carried over with the same thing, and just helped us, survive through the Super Dirt Week stuff and the fall championship.
Joining us here on Off Track TV Live, driver of the number 33X DIRTcar Sportsman and 2021 Central Region champion and DIRTcar Sportsman Series champion, Matt Janzik. Matt, just looking at your stats here, I show 18 wins in 2021, track championships at both the Fulton and Utica Rome Speedways, wins at Fulton, Can-Am, and Utica Rome. 3 very different tracks that require different setups. How did you and your crew adjust to all this throughout a very hectic and busy summer?
Just staying on top of it. Just a lot of work with just preparation. I was talking to people throughout the year racing, and they ask how do you do it, and I'm like, man, it all happens in the shop. And they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, you got to work hard. And not that other teams don't, but we put a lot of time in the shop and making sure the car is on top of everything with from every nut and bolt to grease and stuff, and no binds. And we, like you said, we run at Utica Rome, Fulton, Can-Am. We got to win it at Brewerton this year for the series race during the Central Region stuff. And so we won at 4 different tracks, and it was a transition for me for sure, with switching cars and switching over to Coils as well. Everything was just a huge learning curve this year for me.
Well, Matt, you talk about all the work that it takes to to get these things done on a weekly basis, but it seems like it's been a progression for you sort of over the years. Obviously, been in the sport a long time. We've had the likes of Dave Marcichelli, Rocky Warner, Kevin Root that have really breezed their way through the sportsman ranks and progressed as they've gone. And now it seems to be your time to shine. You've really been working up to this moment.
Yeah, I mean, we've had success over the years. I think my 8th track championship at Utica Rome in the sportsman division, and we never really branched out a whole lot until the last couple of years. My job has allowed me to get a little bit more time off and do different things, and just hit other racetracks so we can run the series and get more experience. And I feel like I'm just still learning more as we race each year and get to all these different tracks. And I take really good notes. That's one of the most important things that I think we do as a team, is take good notes from what the track conditions were to what our car did at that track that night. And I've been able to build on it the last couple of years to get to these other tracks, which has helped me tremendously.
Man, over the offseason coming into 2021, if I'm not mistaken, you and your team made a chassis change. Did that help propel you to where you are today?
Well, it just gave me a lot of unknowns, originally switching. I've ran Bicknell's chassis for years, and, everybody's kind of out riding the Bicknell train, and I've known Matt Hearn for a long time. We're close to the same age, and, I reached out to him and like, I want to do something different. Everybody's on Coils. Everybody's heard Randy, Williamson, say you can't build all the race cars, and he can't, and it's just not good for the sport to have just one manufacturer. So kind of, took a risk, switched chassis, and, everybody says that they're copies, and, there's a lot of similarities between all the chassis, but they're definitely different. And, Matt's been great to work with, and Bob at, TO Pro Car, we made the switch this year, and we just got another new car in order, and we got this one this year. And it's been quite a bit to change, I think mostly from torsion bars to coils. I ran bars all last year when most everyone was on coils. So I think that was a bigger transition for me than switching chassis.
Matt, what do you think has been the biggest reason for the transition to the coils? I think, a lot of people in the grandstands, they see a Sportsman or a modified drive-by. They can't tell underneath if it's got bars or coils. They may not even know the difference, but the technology transition has been pretty big here in the last couple of years, especially towards the coils in the rear of the car.
Yeah, I mean, the torsion bars were just simple. You put them in, and when the car didn't go good, you just blamed it on the torsion bars. And you know what? You spent $200 and you threw new bars in it. With the coil stuff, they don't necessarily go bad, but there's so much you can just change the coil. From a 200-pound spring to a 185 to a 175 to 165, so you can really fine tune a lot more with the coil. And then you got spring rubbers and all that stuff that the modified guys are using. Sportsman guys can't use them on the dirt stuff. I don't know. I think it is a cheap tuning tool for the Sportsman. If we could run them, they're inexpensive, but it takes a lot to understand the coils, and you got to have a spring smasher to know where the rates are. And you just got to do a lot of research to understand the way the suspension works to make your car work.
We're joined by Matt Janzik, 2021 DIRTcar Sportsman Series champion. And Matt, I can remember a bunch of those track championships at the Utica Rome Speedway going back to tell you, how old I am and dating myself, that when Matt first started racing in the Sportsman division, I was working as the track announcer at Utica Rome. But before that, Matt worked at the track, track packing and doing a little bit of everything. You've got a lot of laps at that place, don't you?
Yeah, it's funny. We talk. I've, helped the Bowmans a little bit at the track, and the people make comments. You could probably drive this track blindfolded, and I'd certainly got a lot of laps around there. There's no doubt, and that's helped certainly with my success there. And you make the transition a little bit easier from switching from the crate, and we were able to run a modified this year, thanks to Charlie Caprera and for letting me, have the opportunity to drive that car for a couple races. So definitely a track I'm very comfortable with, and I would say probably more laps than most anyone in dirt racing around that place right now.
Well, Matt, one of the most exciting races of the week leading up to Dirt Week was that triumphant move you made there right at the very end of Outlaw Weekend at Fulton Speedway. And I got a funny anecdote to tell you here. I actually have a group of people that like to come to my house and have a good time before the races start. And one of my buddies actually managed to find you down in Victory Lane. He won some money off your big run out there Saturday at Fulton Speedway. That was one heck of a race. My buddy Josh was very happy to see it.
Yeah, he was certainly excited. I didn't know who it was. My wife keeps asking me, "Who was that guy in that picture?" I don't know, but he owed me $25 because he said he won 100 and he was going to give me 25 of it. So
I think he's tuned in. I'll make sure to let him know.
Yeah, he was excited, and that's fun that the fans can get into it like that and make bets. And when you're one of the guys that they're betting on, it just makes it even more fun.
But I'll tell you that race itself, though, was certainly wild. 50 laps at Fulton Speedway, $4,000 on the line, and you really made a hell of a move there at the end to pull that one out.
Yeah, it was just, we didn't go good early in that race. And lap 15 or so or 20, I didn't think I had a car to do anything. And we just started rolling around the bottom and making moves. And I saw Chris and I saw Zach racing Chris really hard. And I'm like, man, if Chris comes off the bottom to try to protect and run Zach hard, I knew we were going to have a shot to roll the bottom really good. We were super good in 3 and 4, a little bit off in 1 and 2, but we were good in 3 and 4. And sure enough, when we caught him when we needed to, and coming to the white, he left the bottom open in 3 and 4, which actually allowed me to lead that last lap going in taking the white flag. So, it was tight racing, and me and Chris have talked since then. It looked, people in the stands originally thought that I drove into him, and it was tight racing. And, Chris tried to get back to the bottom and jumped the right front wheel there. And, it was just, it was certainly a heck of a race. It was not a good outcome for Sabaka. He kind of got the dirty end of the deal there. And, just overall, it was still an exciting race for me.
Matt, before we let you go, what's the plans for 2022? Any 358 modified racing, or you staying in the sportsman ranks, or dabbling in a little bit of both?
I'm not really sure. We have a 358 right now. Actually, we've had it for a couple of years. It's been kind of just sitting around. Not really sure. I don't plan to move up unless something changes sponsorship-wise. The finances just aren't there to fund a sports or modified team the way it needs to be funded to move up. So, we got a brand new car on order, brand new TO Pro car coming. So excited for that. So that'll be at the show in Syracuse. We might switch out this chassis to another 2022. There's some minor changes to the new chassis that we've been working on, and I've been, helping Matt with and just giving some input on what my thoughts are and with body and some of the chassis stuff. So, just looking forward to 2022. Kind of looking forward to a break this winter because we've raced a lot this summer, and just kind of regroup and come out strong again next year.
Well, Matt, we appreciate you taking time and joining us here tonight. We know you're heading to Eastern States this weekend. Good luck down there, and happy anniversary.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, guys.
Matt Janzik, 2021 DIRTcar Series Sportsman Champion. That's one he's wanted for a long time. Well deserved.
A lot of effort for sure.
Absolutely. When we return here on Off Track TV Live, we have highlights from the 49th edition of Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week coming your way.
It's a nice truck.
Yeah, it's a Chevy Silverado.
Check out this multi-flex tailgate.
Multi-flex, huh?
Come step.
Mom, Dad's flexing again.
That's not all. You can extend the bed for longer stuff.
Is he
Still flexing.
That's right. And it becomes a workspace. You can put your laptop here. I'm sending an imaginary email.
Hey, Dad, dinner!
Hey, look who stopped by Daddy's office.
Wait, you work here?
The Chevy Silverado with the available multi-flex tailgate. Find new flexibility, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Weedsport Productions is the live video production company that you need at your next event. Our mobile production truck is outfitted with the most advanced broadcast equipment in the industry. Weedsport Productions covers racing, live sporting events, corporate events, and concerts. We can broadcast your event live, stream it to the internet, or produce an exciting in-venue experience for your audience. Visit weedsportproductions.com now to learn more.
Welcome back to Off Track TV Live, along with Dan Kapuscinski. I'm the voice, Shane Andrews. And Dan, it seems like it was only just a couple of weeks ago that we had Napa Auto Parts, the 49th edition of Super Dirt Week.
Yeah, and what a week it was, really, from start to finish. Two fantastic trips to Brewerton Speedway, Weedsport mashed in there as well, and then all the racing action over at the Oswego Speedway. Certainly a great week of racing. Only leaves us itching for more for the 50th edition coming up next year right back at Oswego.
That's right, but let's first take a trip back in time. Let's take a look at some of the action from Super Dirt Week. We'll start out Brewerton Speedway on Tuesday night, October 5th, the Super Dirt Car Series makeup race at the D-shaped Dirt Demon.
Well, yeah, what a fantastic event this was. Roy Bresnahan getting a chance to start up there on the pole position, but Matt Williamson was making some hay early on up front. Larry White seemed to be the guy that was everybody was going to have to chase down. Jimmy Phelps was doing his best, but look at the field up front. Phelps, Williamson. The track was a little tough, though, here, Shane, as Timmy Sears Jr. ended up on his lid.
And Timmy Sears Jr. in the 83 had a very good run going, ended up on his lid. Billy Decker ended up on his lid earlier in the night with the number 91. Here we watched the battle for second between Jimmy Phelps in the 98H, Matt Williamson in the 88, and Larry White in the number 99L leading the way.
Yeah, Williamson started to make some runs on the high side of the speedway, actually credited some 358 racing that he had done at Brewerton, I believe a year or two prior, kind of having a look at the racetrack, knowing where he needed to be, but he eventually found the inside on Larry White here for the lead out of turn 4.
Lightning trying to get back on the top side with the red 99L, but Matt Williamson in the 88 just a little bit better right there through turns number 1 and 2. He takes over the lead, and from then on, it was all Matt Williamson. And Matt coming off the big win from the previous Saturday at the Outlaw 200.
That's right. Little did we all know at the time that Money Matt was looking forward to a pretty big week here during Super Dirt Week, and it all kicked off right here at the Brewerton Speedway with a very, very good run.
Matt Williamson, as he in the 88 would start to run away, but we'd have this caution. Sean Beardsley would pull down to the infield. That would set up a last couple of lap charge where Peter Britton and Jimmy Phelps would slice and dice for the 2 spot.
Well, and Peter Britton actually had lost power steering very early on in this race too, so just to be able to mount a challenge to the podium was quite an effort for the Batman.
Matt Williamson, 10 grand richer after winning at Brewerton Speedway to start Super Dirt Week 49, $10,000 in his pocket at the D-shaped Dirt Demon. So a great run for him, $30,000 in 2 races, an impressive run for him.
Well, and like Matt said, in Victory Lane afterwards, it was one of those situations where his the momentum has been building. He was coming into a stride right at the right time, and what a perfect way to get the official start to Super Dirt Week underway.
Well, the next night at Weedsport, he would pick up $4,000 in the 358s. Thursday night, the next night, another $4 grand at the Brewerton Speedway with the 358s. Could he keep that streak going with the Salute to the Troops 150 for the 358s at Oswego? Dave Farney says go, as this race is lit up under the lights at Oswego.
Always love seeing the modifieds get to run under the lights at Oswego Speedway. Some of the best racing that we will see during the week, as you see Stuart Friesen and Mike Maresca doing battle here. They were locked together pretty much the entire race, it felt like, and they had some great battles through this field.
Mike Maresca, one of those drivers that when the calendar turns to October seems to pick it up another notch. We've seen that in the past with the Outlaw 200 and runs that he has had at Super Dirt Week.
Absolutely, and in Oswego, a little bit more of the straight fashion, a faster, higher speed racetrack seems to fit Maresca's style, and he was certainly hot on the heels of Stuart Friesen through this one.
One of the drivers that likes the big tracks and likes to go fast is Stuart Friesen in the number 44. The Salute to the Troops 150. The driver out of Sprakers, New York, would pick up the win for $20,000 on a Saturday night.
And Shane, hard to believe, his first ever win in that event.
Yeah.
Of all the races that Stuart Friesen has won through the years, I guess for those that don't pay attention, you figure, of course he would have won that race before, but it had never been done before, but he got it done during this year's Super Dirt Week.
He's only won the 200, his first win in the 150. Of course, the Pro Stocks and the Sportsman joined the ranks of Super Dirt Week as well. Now we shift to Sunday morning, if you will. 11 o'clock as the green flag flew on the DIRTcar Pro Stocks for a 50-lap battle. Luke Horning in the number 2H and Chad Chessio, Bad Chad in that 25, doing battle up front.
Yeah, these are two of the guys you always see going door to door in any major DIRTcar Pro Stock event, especially here at Oswego Speedway, and they had over 30 cars in attendance, even despite not being able to get the Canadians to come south of the border. A great field on hand, and Chad Chessio really showed the way in this one.
Chessio in the number 25, that's a former Rob Yetman car. And Yetman, a 5-time winner of Super Dirt Week and Pro Stock Action. And Bad Chad, he would pick up the win, his first during Super Dirt Week with that number 25 machine, the driver out of Averill Park, New York.
And a big win for Chad. You know, anytime the Pro Stocks come to Super Dirt Week, it's no doubt their Daytona in essence. Beautiful looking race cars, always great racing. Happy for Chad to get to victory lane.
And of course, we talked to Matt Janzik. He was a runner-up in the next race we're going to show, the DIRTcar Sportsman, the Chevy Performance 75. But this race is always entertaining. 40 cars strong for the DIRTcar Sportsman.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, 75 laps is a long way around Oswego Speedway. The small block classic that we run on the pavement is 75 laps. We run quicker lap times due to the pavement. It's a long race for these cars. It's actually longer than the event they would run at the Syracuse Mile. Chad Edwards started up front, looked very good early on, but Zach Sabatka found a portion of the speedway that really nobody could early on in this one.
He went up to the top side. He started, I believe, back in 19th, someplace back in Central Square in the field, a very competitive field. I mean, 72 sportsmen came out, only 40 started, so half went home.
Yeah, just making this race is an accomplishment in itself. There's no doubt about it, except for Zach Sabatka and Matt Janzik. They want to get up front and win this one. And, you know, I was thinking for a second at this juncture of the event that maybe Janzik was going to pull off another miracle again, kind of like he had at Fulton Speedway. But Zach was just really locked in with that 38 machine.
We saw the 10 of Chad Edwards break. Zach Sabatka would run away and pull away from the number 33 of Matt Janzik. Janzik had his chances, but just couldn't make it work as a second big win of 2021 for Zach Sabatka in that number 38.
Absolutely. He'd already pulled down $10,000 earlier this year, gets to stand up on the roof of that machine. And they were parked right next to us in the Jimmy Phelps camp. You know, that Sabatka crew never stopping. Even on Saturday when they had no reason to be there or any real work to be done, they were out there working on that car, getting shocks and springs dialed in. A very valiant effort on their part.
Before we get into the highlights of our next race, obviously, which is the Billy Whitaker Cars 200, Dan, I want to just take a minute and talk about something that obviously has made a lot of noise and a lot of news. Obviously, track conditions is Super Dirt Week. And where I'm going with this is obviously we don't need to belabor the obvious. But I'm curious, with you being the spotter this year for Jimmy Phelps, what was the team meeting like and what was the strategy knowing that there were unique track conditions or technical track conditions, if you will, going into the event?
Well, I had plenty of conversations with Jimmy about it, actually. And actually, you know, he said, you know, fortunately, where a lot of the holes were on the slower parts of the racetrack. And if you could pick and choose your line, if you were in the unique position to be able to do that, you could make your way around those holes. But the problem was, you know, it got to be more difficult to do that later on in all of the races. But really, we just had to hunker down, toughen up the car as much as we could, make sure the shock packages were as such to deal with the conditions. But at the end of the day, it was the same hand for everybody in the field.
And really, we got to give a shout out to the track crew. You know, they did a hell of a job, really. It was tough. The clay was wet. They had a lot of challenges that they had to work through. But, you know, overall, I think they did a heck of a job.
Well, yeah, especially if the crew on hand that was trying to make the Speedway as safe as they could for the hand that they were dealt, kudos. Yeah, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Those guys didn't sleep a few of those nights. I mean, they were doing literally everything they could, and you know, we just can't thank them enough for the effort that they put in.
200 laps, $50,000. The Billy Whitaker Cars 200 to the grand finale, the crescendo of Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week, the 49th edition. Peter Britton in the 21A was the class of the field early on, but I believe right here is the game-changing event, if you will, off of turn number 4 with Tyler Dipple.
Yeah, Tyler hit that hole coming out of turn 4. The car shot out to the outside, and unfortunately, it found Peter Britton before Britton found the outside wall. Ended up getting a flat right rear to Dipple's car as well, which really put Matt Williamson, as you can see right here, threads the needle, puts himself right in the driver's seat.
And Williamson pitted early, did what he needed to do as we watched the Dipple number 1 going to work on that right rear and the suspension. There you can see the damage on the 21 of Peter Britton after contact with the wall. This puts the 88 of Matt Williamson and the number 91 of Billy Decker and the 9S of Matt Shepard, your 1, 2, and 3 cars.
The strategy of this race was actually a lot of fun to keep keep track of, being that they ended up counting all of the caution laps after the drivers' meeting. So guys really figured they could go the distance on fuel, as Matt Williamson, for the second time, gets the Billy Whitaker Cars 200 victory. So you had a few guys in the camp of, we're not pitting. You had a bunch of guys early on that were going to pit, and it really made for interesting strategy at the end of this one.
His second consecutive win in the 200, and for the week, close to $100,000 in prize money, going back to St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, with Money Matt Williamson.
Yeah, some of us will never win that much in a career, and Matt was able to do it in 1 week. Again, they call him Money Matt for a reason.
That's right.
He and that team, the Barron's 3 team as well, they seem to find their stride when they need to at the right times, and he's able to get it done.
And our congratulations to all the winners in Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week, but we also got to mention, how about Billy Dunn picking up that 358 Modified Dirt Car Series Championship? Did that car look like a super modified to you at the end of the race?
It certainly did. I saw a meme going around. It was a picture of Billy's car with no body on it. It said, "I'm going to tell my kids this is Gary Ballou," because the car kind of looked like the Batmobile almost. But that's the fight that you have to have. When you're in the throes of a championship like that, you don't know how the cards are going to fall. All you know is you need to do everything in your power to get on the racetrack, stay on the racetrack, and Billy did what he had to do.
When we return to Off Track TV Live, Dan and I are going to answer some of your questions and make some predictions for the World Finals coming up in just a couple of weeks. Don't go anyplace.
Weedsport Speedway is home of the fastest cars and biggest stars. With over $1 million in recent upgrades, our fans know this is the premier race destination in the Northeast. The fan experience is at the forefront of everything we do. LED light shows, luxury suites, premium stadium seating, and a 27-foot HD video display to engage and entertain fans. And by the way, our fans? Yeah, our fans kick ass. They are committed and loyal. They bring their families to races. They consistently engage with us over social media, on our website, and tune into our incredible productions airing on national TV and streaming online. This year features an exciting season of events. It's a blast to go fast. Want to talk to a growing audience and next-generation fans? Customized sponsorship opportunities make it super easy. We have event sponsorships, product sponsorships, digital billboards, web, social, digital ads, race day displays and signage, booths and promotions. Video opportunities both in venue, on national TV, and streaming online. The drivers, the excitement, the speed. The pork burgers are why fans show up. At Weedsport Speedway, our venue and production are the reason they keep coming back. Be a part of the best season yet.
If you're fretting that you won't be able to get any more Off Track TV Live for 2021, rest assured, we will be back once again on Thursday, November 11th. That will be our final show for 2021, and we'll have to tabulate our Super Dirt Week's picks to see if Dan wears my cowboy shirt or I wear his.
I'm going with it's a tie.
It's a tie. It wasn't on a Sunday a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
well,
I know.
We won't talk about that.
I know.
We're having a good show. Hey, what do you say we take some questions here?
Yeah,
You ready?
let's do it.
All right, Wilma Sweeney. Wonder if she's related to Bobby.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Wants to know, what are you guys doing for the World Finals? Well, I'll start off. I'm going to be there with the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds. I'm going to be up in the tower bringing you the racing action.
Well, and as it turns out, I got the call, I believe, this past Monday. I'm going to be talking with Shane the whole time down in the infield. I'm going to be actually getting the chance to pit report for the World Finals, which I'm really excited about. Haven't been to the dirt track in Charlotte in about 9 years, so excited for a big 3-day racing weekend.
Looking forward to it, November 4th, 5th, and 6th down at the dirt track at Charlotte. Sprint Car Bob wants to know, who are your picks for the World Finals? Ooh, now, hold on. Okay, so Sprint Car Bob wants to know who our picks are. Well, there's 3 divisions racing, so right. I think we probably ought to do all 3.
Let's try.
All right.
I'm not exactly boned up on my World of Outlaws late models knowledge lately, but I'll do my best.
I'll let you start. You pick the division to start.
Let's start with the sprint cars.
Okay.
They've got a 92-point battle right now between David Gravel and Brad Sweet. Of course, they have 3 events to be run before the World Finals. But just to keep the points race interesting, I will go with David Gravel on night 1 and then Brad Sweet on night 2 to sum up the championship.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you, I have seen him run down here at the dirt track a bunch of times. And he swept the weekend when we went to Bristol, David Gravel, and that is one of my picks as well. And, I'm kind of leaning to saying he takes and sweeps the weekend.
Right? We've seen him do some things like that before when he's pressured to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm also going to go out and throw another pick out there. I'm going to say Logan Schuchart bags a win down at Charlotte.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm going to go with David Gravel on Friday night, Logan Schuchart on Saturday.
Perfect.
Yep. All right. Well, let's jump to those late models.
All right, let's do it. You first.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with a gentleman that has had success there in the past, not only in a late model, but also in a big block modified. And he is the 2021 Lucas Oil Late Model Series champion. Congratulations to Watertown's own Tim McCready.
Yep.
I'm taking Tim McCready for one of the nights. I'm going to say Saturday night for Tim McCready. And I'm going with a guy that also runs good there very night. Hasn't had the season that he wanted to have, but I think he's always a player there at the dirt track, and that is Jimmy Owens, the Newport Nightmare. Did I take your pick?
Well, you might have. In theory, you probably took both of them because I know Jimmy Owens has run there well before. I'm gonna still stick with the O show because he always does a really, really good job down there at the dirt track at Charlotte. And then I will stick with the champions team. I will go with Brandon Shepard to win one of the other races on that weekend as he is the series point leader.
Yeah, Brandon Shepard with a healthy point advantage over Chris Madden, and Smokey also one of those drivers that could pick up a win down there as well. All right, well, you and I are both going to be here for the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds. Who are you taking?
That's right. Well, again, I've been sticking with the championship theme. I won't necessarily, well, I will. I'll say Matt Shepard on Saturday night, and I still want to see Billy Decker pull into victory lane one last time on this Super Dirt Car Series, paired up with that whole team that he has. So I'll go with Decker on Friday, Shepard on Saturday.
You took my notes. You looked. Wow. I don't know if that's because we're that in tune or, I'm thinking the same thing. And I say that because Matt doesn't have the pressure of a championship fight this year. He's pretty much got it locked up going into the World Finals. So he can focus on the race more so than the points. And I'm taking Billy Decker as well because I want to see him get that first win on the series, last ride with LJL Racing.
Yep.
And also, he did win a night down there last year, so I think he can do it again.
Absolutely. Well, I think we were pretty much spot on right through there between Gravel and our late model guys. And, we do go to a lot of races together.
That's right. We do. We do. Great minds think alike.
Right.
If that just doesn't prove it, I don't know what does.
Exactly.
Dan, always a pleasure to see you and catch up with you. Look forward to the World Finals in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, Thursday, November 11th, we'll be right back here on Off Track TV Live. For the guys behind the scenes, Brett Moses and Don Boshin, my name is the voice Shane Andrews for Dan Kapuscinski. We say thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time right here on Off Track TV Live.